All right, welcome to another episode here. We're going to take a look at Carvana CVNA today. Stock's pulling back and it's got a lot of volume that's coming into it. Obviously, selling pressure and selling volume. So we'll take a look at what this is all about and give you some takes. Keep in mind, none of these are recommendations to buy or sell the stock. It is just my own personal opinion. All right, so let's take a look at Carvana, really what it's all about here. And as we get into it, it's really, you're buying cars. You can sell or trade your car, and there's different ways you could shop for it online and, check out these cars and in a way do a point test and inspection. Obviously, they have to make their money somehow. So between the financing, between the spread of them buying cars from other people, and then they're kind of selling, better quality used cars, in other words. So that's what I kind of discovered from it. Anyway, when you look at the stock, it was doing very well here over the past little while, and not to mention the car inventory was very low. So if they had some inventory, the stock started to rise up fairly quickly. If you look at since inception, this became public company around 2017. So the trend overall has been doing very well. Now, looking at the longer term picture, again, we're looking at the weekly. Let's hop on over to the monthly chart right here. If you kind of look at this trend, this is the trend that we were moving in right there. Let me make it a little more precise for you. Okay, so you can see we've hit support, pretty much a little bit of confluence there where the stock's bouncing around, but kind of holding that trend, and now we're breaking down. So this was a huge break just recently here. And this is where that stock is getting some action and a little bit of trouble. So we're starting to create this rollover effect where there's some pressure in this company right now. You also notice this volume here. Take a look at this volume that's been descending. So the volume has been declining as it's been going higher, right? Normally you want to see this volume increasing, which it was doing earlier, as it's going higher. In this case, we weren't getting that. So that's actually a bit of a problem and trouble. So now we've been getting a decline, which means it's slowing down. Over time, it's going to slow down after that many years. But you'd want to start seeing more increase again as it's picking up speed to the upside, but it's not. You're actually seeing a pickup in speed on the sell side. So this is actually where a bit of the trouble starts to come in. So as we start looking into more of the weekly time frame, and we start getting into each bar represents a week, you can see we had a huge low around the $30 here in 2020. 2021 started to grind up, did pretty well. And now, as you'll see, as we get into kind of the daily time frame, really been struggling a bit with it. So as I hop onto here, notice right here, the stock started to sell off around August. Then we kind of isolated a little bit, then again sell off, then again a little pop. So overall, this trend is now on the downside with volume starting to rise on selling pressure, which is definitely not good. So if I'm looking for some support, critical support and resistance levels, I like to check how far down this can actually go. As I check kind of the swing points on the Fibonacci levels. Let's just go to a monthly, and you can see some key swing point right here, the swing low to the swing high. And you can see that the price point is 156 is kind of where we're looking for a possible bounce. It's also the low of this bar here. So that's kind of what we're looking for maybe a bounce, a possible bounce. It doesn't mean it can't go lower, because obviously it can go to this $100 level where you started to see a lot of resistance in the past. And it can come down into there to find support as well. It can do a one-to-one full retracement, but we'll see if that really pans out and plays out. So right now you're getting a lot of selling action, a lot of selling pressure, and you'll see on these Fibonacci levels, it's actually hitting them fairly well as you start drawing some of these lines. So ultimately, this stock is selling off in a fairly significant way. If you look at the daily, you've got a lot of pressure and action. It's just, you're not seeing any kind of rolling effect. You're not seeing any surge and spikes, buyers stepping in, like it's empty, like on the buy side, empty here. There's a lot of emptiness, and you're seeing a lot of selling pressure that's coming in all over the place. So definitely, if you're, let's say you own 1,000 shares and you're selling your calls against it, I would definitely bring those calls in closer. That's just me personally to do protection. You could even probably sell sometimes 11 instead of 10 calls just to get some extra cushion. You could even sell calls, let's say, in the money if you're doing anything like that. You could even buy put verticals to do some protection. You could buy the puts, but unfortunately buying puts now when the stock's already this low is a little more pricey and expensive because you don't know if it's going to snap up and then all of a sudden your puts are not worth as much. The time to buy puts was when the stock was, you know, around these levels. But right now it's just much more expensive to do those kinds of things. So ultimately the stock is done for a little while, but you're trying to watch for a couple of things like a reversal, a turnaround like right here where you're getting a nice crescent shape. You're also looking for some support levels that we talked about, like the 100, 110 level, or also kind of those Fibonacci levels, which it's kind of coming in to these swing lows right here, which that price point is right around about 160 or so. So that's kind of what we're looking for in this stock. Other than that, it's looking weak. It's not showing any key signs. And if I look at just the amount of volume that's coming in and the volume buzz, it is strong volume buzz, but unfortunately, which basically means there's a lot of volume coming in, but unfortunately it's to the sell side. So from the upside perspective and the longer term chart, we're also breaking down a key significant angle here, which means now will this stock start slowing down and maybe we'll start traveling maybe more at this angle, because this could be another angle right here that it starts looking into. Let me draw that with a pink. And then you can see, and then we might start traveling in this, at this angle or that level. And that could be more of a slower pace, but it's also quite possible. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me. Hope you enjoyed this video. Enjoy the rest of the week ahead, and I will see you on the next one.